next we're going to be talking about cover letters. So what is a cover letter? A cover letter is an extension of your resume detailing more of why you want to be an employee in whatever company you're applying for. So it highlights anything that you want your employer to know more about that is not on your resume. So if you have a really impactful and relevant job experience or a volunteer experience in your resume, this is your chance to tell them more about that experience. Tell them that you've done research on the company and why you want to be hired for this position. Employers want to see that you have the ability to think critically, that you are a hard worker, that you can communicate clearly, that you can work as a team and know how to learn. These are the things that will make your cover letter really stand out of all of the other cover letters that will be submitted for that same position. That's why we want you all to learn about cover letters so you can stand out and make an impact when you are applying for jobs. Your cover letter is an extension of your resume, and your cover letter is the first thing that they will see, and they will introduce your resume. So when employer gets all of your documents, it will be your cover letter on top and your resume on the bottom. If they don't like your cover letter, they won't read your resume. So it's really important that you put a lot of work into your cover letter so it stands out and they want to read more about your experiences and anything else you bring to the table for this job. You have to be honest in the content of your cover letter, just like the content of your resume. You should not be lying, because if the employer really wants, they can check your references, check anything that's in your resume with the people who have worked in those positions, and see if you're being honest or not. And we don't want you to have to be put in that position where you have to explain why this is not honest. So make sure that you just, from the get-go, just be honest. The cover letter is used for employers to see if you're a good fit for the company. So it's really important that you put a lot of thought into what you want the cover letter to say and reflect about you and the position that you're applying for in the future. It will showcase the job understanding and showcase your research that you've done on the job and of the company. At the end, your resume plus the position description are what make the resume. So it's really important that you understand the position requirements and the position description, the qualifications and all that stuff to make sure that your cover letter is accurate and it stands out above all. For your cover letter, don't just tell them the experiences. Make sure that you describe yourself. This is the time to sell who you are to the employers for them to pick you. So you have to really make it a story, make it really stand out, really make it you. Again, just like the resume, no abbreviations and no slang, as it is not a common thing, and you really want them to understand what all of these things are. So again, if you are talking about ITA, make sure that you spell out ITA so they know who ITA is, what they do, and if they want to ask more questions about it, they can go and do some research. Always proofread any documents that you're submitting for a job. It's really important. Poor grammar, poor penmanship, poor any of that will make an employer toss your resume or cover letter to the side. It's really important to have good first impression, and that all means having good grammar and no typos. Your cover letter should be consistent with the same format as your resume. So they should mirror each other. If you're using a font for your resume, you should also be using the same font, the same size, the same style on your cover letter. They are family, so you want them to be the same. And it's important, again, to use bulletins, asterisks, and dashes to really hit home with what those things are, because those are the important things that you want them to know. If that's what you're going for your cover letter, you want something to stand out, make sure you put it in a bulletin, asterisk, or dash. So here are the parts of a cover letter. There's always a heading in every cover letter, and it should have the name of your supervisor, your information as well, and the date. So the information could look something like this. Your address, your email address, and then your phone number. You don't have to put your name on there because it's going to be set at the bottom with your signature. The date of the cover letter, and then the information of the employer. So this person is applying for the Information Technology Academy job as a tech instructor, so they would put the Information Technology Academy, the supervisor's name, the address, And then afterwards, you start with Dear Mr. Kilgore, or the person in charge of hiring. Again, this is where a little bit of research comes into play. You want to be able to address whoever this first letter is going to come to by their proper name if you are able to find it. A lot of people don't post that on there, but some do. So for job postings, a lot of time they have, please send your cover letter and resume to this person with their email address. That is that person that you want to address this cover letter to. So make sure you just copy and paste their information there. Then you have to find the address of that company. So you go on their website and figure out what the company's address is. If you can't find the name of the person who you are addressing the letter to, then you just say, Dear Supervisor, Manager, HR, Recruiter, whatever you feel more comfortable with that fits the description of the person who's hiring. Next is the opening paragraph. This is 2 sentences at most, and it states exactly why you want the position, why you're interested in it, and then tell them how you learn about the position in the first place. So here's the example. I'm writing to apply for the internship position with the Tribal Technology Institute that you submitted to the Information Technology Academy. So that tells them why that you're interested in the position. It tells them where you found that information as well. You can put more stuff about why you're interested in that position. It doesn't hurt to add that in there. Next is the hire me portion of the cover letter. This is the longer part of the whole cover letter. You want to make sure that you highlight all of the skills from your resume that are specific for this position, that are meaningful for this position. So if you have experience teaching in another job, you want to include that in here and tell them why you are a great fit for this job. What makes you best suited for this position, basically. And then for each requirement of that position, so you'll have to refer back to the description position, you want to tell them why you would be great. It might be because you learned it in ITA. It might be because your job in someplace else gave you the skills to be successful at this job. It doesn't matter as long as you put why you are best suited for this. Then the last sentence in this whole section should be referring back to the summary statement or objective that you wrote in your resume. Just tying all of these things back to why you want this position, why it's important to you, and why you will be the best fit. Section number 4 is the job. This is where you will have to show them that you did a little bit of research. You'll want to talk about specific things that you are really interested about the job. Anything that you learn about the organization as a whole or the company as a whole, you want to talk about that and why that interests you. And anything else that really impressed you or you want to share that you have learned with your employer. So basically, this is to make a good impression on the employer and show them that you are really committed because you did the research and you are really interested in this position because you're taking the time to not only write a cover letter, but also to look up the company, to look at employees, to talk to other people, and figure out what you want to say in this section. Then at the very end, you want to state that if they have any questions, that you will be happy to talk to them. Thank the supervisor for their consideration on your application. And then mention that you have enclosed your resume also along with this cover letter. Just most people know, but it's nice to put that in your cover letter just in case they miss it. And at the end, you want to say sincerely and then write your name. You can put your email address and your phone number at the very bottom, which means you will have to take it from the heading. You can do either one, but that's something that you end with, is sincerely, your name, and then your contact information, or leave the contact information out. It's up to you. Okay, that is all for cover letters. It's really easy and to the point. It's really just about how you want to go about them. There's also a worksheet attached to this module for you to walk through the whole process, referring back to this video. So make sure that you look at that information, start working on your cover letter now that you picked a job, and submit it. I will give you feedback on your cover letter and resume, and then you'll have everything you need to be ready for your mock interview. Again, there's examples in the Canvas course for you to look at on other students' cover letters and other students' resumes, so make sure that you look at those. Do not copy their information or their content as it is theirs, but it should fit and reflect who you are as individuals and your experiences and why you want to pursue this position in the mock interviews. That's all for cover letters.